There were days my lips stayed still, not out of peace, but shattered will, when prayer felt like too much to say, and all I had was breath and ache. No scriptures came, no songs arose, just heavy silence, thick and close. And in that stillness I felt shame, like heaven waited on my name. I watched the faithful raise their hands, while I just tried to barely stand. They spoke in tongues, they danced, they soared, and I sat quiet, bruised and bored. I felt like faith had passed me by, like I had failed at how to cry. But you were never keeping score. You sat beside me on the floor. I thought you needed words from me, but you were fluent in my grief. You heard the prayers I couldn't say, and stayed with me anyway. When I couldn't pray, you held a space. You turned my sighs into sacred grace. The groans I thought were just defeat were intercessions at your feet. You never needed fancy lines, just honest pain and borrowed time. You stayed when I had nothing left to say. You loved me when I couldn't pray.
I used to think my strength impressed, that you showed up when I was blessed. But now I know you drawing near to every broken, trembling fear. You never asked for polished words, just honesty, even when it hurts. And in the silence you still speak, a love that runs profoundly deep. I used to fake it with a smile, trying to please you all the while. But now I've learned you'd rather see a heart that's tired but still believes. You're not a God who turns away when tears replace the things I pray. You gather sighs like precious gold and turn my weakness into bold. So if I sit with lowered head, with thoughts too tangled to be said, you won't withdraw or call me cold. You're still the shepherd of my soul. And even when I can't believe, you carry faith enough for me. You intercede with breath divine and claim this aching heart as mine. I thought you needed words from me, but you were fluent in my grief. You heard the prayers I couldn't say, and stayed with me anyway. When I couldn't pray, you held the space. You turned my sighs into sacred grace. The groans I thought were just defeat were intercessions at your feet. You never needed fancy lines, just honest pain and borrowed time. You stayed when I had nothing left to say. You loved me when I couldn't pray. Now when my words refuse to come,
I know my silence isn't dumb. You're tuned to every breath and blink. You know my thoughts before I think. So I will trust you even still, when I can't move, when I can't will. You meet me where the soul lays bare, and whisper, child, I'm already there. Even my silence is a song. You've held me all the journey long, and when my soul forgets the way, your spirit still begins to pray. When I couldn't pray, you prayed instead. You held me close and bowed your head. No judgment passed, no shadow thrown, just sacred love that made me known. You saw the tears, you stayed the same, and wrote my name on holy flame. You never left me, not one day. You loved me when I couldn't pray.